I think we're up. I think we're live.
Are we live?
I think we are live.
We are live. We are live, and we are a couple minutes late, and for good reason. And so, welcome today. We have Mr. Carlos Salguero and Mr. Sam Singh here today, and we're going to hear about Carlos and his amazing story of how he is on track to own a freaking billion. I said with a B, a billy in real estate by 2028. But really, we want to know where this dude got started. How did he get started in real estate? And he's going to share with us why he's 6 minutes late and for a good reason. So, Sam, if you want to kind of introduce our special guest here today, let's go.
Right. I want to spend just like a quick minute saying this, right? So, Carlos, first and foremost, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. You've been all over. I don't think you're actually in the Sub2 mentorship. I don't think you are.
No.
But you are all over it right now because of the amazing work and the value that you've been providing with Keston, who you're taking out to multifamily with, and you're providing people a lot of amazing training on how to get into that space with like none of their own credit, amazing things like that. And I've been seeing you everywhere. And the other night, I was literally I was boarding a plane. I was boarding an airplane and to Phoenix, Arizona, because I wanted to go lock up a deal there. Spoiler alert, I locked it up. Yes, it's a win. And then I saw my good friend, my brother Marlon Johnson, Mindset Marlon, go live, and then you were there with him, and you were just pouring into the viewers. You're pouring into the viewers about your story, about things that you've done, and I was like, oh my God. And then you said something that was amazing. I want to talk about this a little bit later. It's about having someone's attention. And right then and there, I was adamant. I'm like, this guy has no idea who I am. I am non-existent, but by the end of this day or by the next day, or as soon as I can, I'm going to reach out to him. I literally got on the plane. I had to go into airplane mode, and I was very sad about that because you guys were still going. But I knew I had to reach out to you, so I did. And you have so graciously made the time for us today. But I want everyone to know why we're a little bit late, and because it's just going to go to show the type of stuff that you are doing.
Yes, for sure. So do you want me to give him the version where you didn't send me the right link, or the other version?
It's Sam's fault.
That is my fault. I sent yeah, okay. You know what, Carlos?
No. All joking aside, guys, we were pitching one of our multifamily deals to 9-year career NFL active duty player. And for him, multifamily, we've been talking to him for a little while now. And as you guys know, athletes have an amazing revenue stream when they're actively playing.
Mm-hmm.
The contracts are insane. They pay a lot of taxes. So for his perspective is he wants to save a bunch of money on taxes, which is one of the big reasons why people should get into multifamily real estate. But secondly, once he retires, which will probably come soon, the average career of an NFL player is about 1.5 years, 2 years. So he has beaten that record by, a long mile. And what he wants to do is start creating passive streams of income for his family now that he has had a successful career. So, we've been chatting with him about this. We've been educating him about real estate and multifamily in particular. And, he actually missed the last deal we did. He was just busy. They were having a baby, and he didn't get back to us on a timely manner, and he missed the last deal. But he reached out and said, "Guys, sorry, life got to me." He was rehabilitating his leg as well. He had an injury, but now he's on, man, and now he's excited, and he's going to participate in this one. So that's kind of the short story of that. And I know, look, it's one person that will lead us to the next and the next and the next and the next. As you build these relationships and you do well for your investors, it will just spread like wildfire, because in my opinion, guys, multifamily real estate is the best investment vehicle in the world.
That's amazing. And so Carlos, obviously, you're very big into multifamily space, and we're going to get down on, and I want to share with everyone out there kind of what you do, and if they want to participate, how they can. But tell us, how did you get started into the multifamily game? What was your background? I know you had a business career before, or maybe even so actively. And so,
yes.
If you don't mind just sharing with us a little bit about your origin story.
For sure. So I'm originally from Quito, Ecuador, South America. For those that didn't attend a geography class or fell asleep through it.
That'd be me.
Right on the equator. That's what it's called.
So it's real hot down there, right?
Yeah. Not really. So
hot?
I know you've been sleeping through geography school. No, it's actually up in the mountains. It's in the Andes Mountains.
Cool.
I live in Denver right now. It's mile high. Just to give you perspective, this is like 5,280 feet high. The city where I was born is 9,000 and change.
Oh my!
So amazing, beautiful country. However, small. And my dad was an entrepreneur. Always pushed us to look north and say, "Man, the USA is the land of dreams, of opportunity, of freedom. You guys need to go study there, and you guys need to really set your sight on America as your opportunity in the future." So, we bought into this idea. We went to an American school. We learned English as kids. And when I graduated from high school, of course, I was like, I'm going to go to the US. And I ended up in a school here in Pueblo, Colorado State University, Pueblo, Colorado. By the way, if you guys have watched Undercover Billionaire,
yep,
that's where Grant got deployed for his assignment of building a $1 million business in 90 days. And he ended up with a $5 million business in 90 days. And, for me, it was a good town. I went to school, graduated there, went to work for Hewlett Packard as an engineer. I worked for Hewlett Packard in the beginning. They were not hiring anybody without experience. So I took, even though I had a master's degree, I took an internship, non-paid internship. I worked there for over 6 months, unpaid, just to get my foot in the door.
Yeah.
And I just knew, man, it's like, look, once they get to know me, I'm going to be able to win. I just need them to know me. And that goes back to your point, Sam. You need to get known.
Yeah.
That's your ticket. If you remember anything from this podcast, think about, how do I get people to know my name, to know who I am, to know how hard of a worker I am, how big my dreams are. And so I got my foot in the door. Within 6 or so months, they actually started paying me. and then I climbed the ranks fast, man. I became the North America engineering manager within 4.5 years that I was there, overseeing over 100 engineers. So I went from literally zero, to almost $250,000 in salary in 4 years. So it was amazing. I traveled the world. I basically did a lot of fun stuff, but I had that bug of entrepreneurship in me, right? I grew up around my dad's business, my mom's business, and I was like, guys, I just need to do something else. So I was moonlighting, and I started selling on eBay on the side, and started going well. And then I started buying toner cartridges that had a little bit of a cosmetic issue on the packaging or something like that these guys were throwing away. I was buying them for pennies on the dollar, flipping that on eBay. And within 9 months, I doubled my salary from HP out of my 1-bedroom apartment. So I was like, all right, I don't need these guys anymore. Walked into my boss's office and I said, hey, I'm going to go do this. And he's like, what? Man, that's a fad. E-commerce is just temporary. People need to go to the stores. And, he was hurt, right? He was losing a valuable asset. And I was like, man, I get you. I'll give you my 2-week notice. I'll give you a month notice if you need to. If I fail, I'll come back. I was straight up.
Yeah.
But thinking, man, I'm never coming back, right? Sure enough.
Oh, so sorry. I just wanted to hit on that, right? Like the way that you said it is you're taking a chance, right? That was, you were leaving, what was it, $250,000 in salary?
Yes.
Right. Because of what you had going on was selling stuff on reselling, repackaging on eBay.
Yes.
But
and what year was this?
This was 2003.
So this was obviously obviously way before e-commerce was like as it is now, where everyone's buying everything from the click of a button.
It's when people said, I will never put my credit card on a website.
I mean, okay, and I want you, and I want to let you get back to what you were saying, but I have to hit on that. You not only because ecom is still viewed as somewhat risky. It's still, now that we've flushed it out, and you can buy into automation stores, and it's even like packaged for you. You were doing it at a time where it was a blue ocean space almost, and you had the conviction to completely bet on yourself. And you said that you knew you were never coming back.
I knew it. I mean, I had proof of concept, right? I was making money with this vehicle out of my 1-bedroom apartment. So I was like, wow, what can I do with actual employees, with a facility, with a warehouse? So if I could do this by myself and beat most people out there working, 60, 80 hours a week, what can I do once I build a team? And it was straight up a dream at that point. But I took a leap of faith. I went and did it, moved from San Jose, California, where this job was at, back to Colorado, moved into my mom's basement. And then I went to hire my first employee, which was her. My mom was my first employee.
Nice.
My stepdad was my second employee. Then I met my wife, married her. She was my third employee. And we ended up building a very nice business, grew from the house to a small warehouse, then to another warehouse. And then we bought this facility where I'm in right now. It's a 50,000 square feet commercial warehouse.
Wow.
10 years ago. And that was kind of my first venture in real estate, buying a commercial facility that, by the way, now it's worth 9 times what I paid for it 10 years ago.
Seriously.
Right? So
you have the best tenant in there as well.
I'm the best tenant, man. I pay the rent every month. And yeah, man, it's been good to me. What can I tell you, right? But it was scary, guys. It was scary, like buying my first big warehouse, because I was in a 5,000 square feet. So I 10x'd what I had. But the opportunity that I saw in front of me, my wife thought I was nuts, right? Everybody thought I was crazy. And I was like, guys, I think I can make this work. And sure enough, my little voice in my head, which we all have, that tries to keep us small, said, man, you'll never fill this place up. Now it's like busting at the seams. I don't know if you guys can see it, right? I'll read a little.
Wow.
A little.
That is oh my god.
So
okay, toner cartridges.
I expected it to be big. I did not expect it to be like that. Is amazing.
Yeah.
So that just put things into perspective for me, right? It's like investing in real estate. I mean, this is like my primary thing that I do is I'm into real estate. I'm relatively new to this game, but it's just like, we talk about thinking bigger. And Carlos's intro to real estate was not, single family, not a long-term rental for an Airbnb. No, it's just a giant commercial space that he's going to optimize for business. That's just wild. So it's a reminder to always just be thinking bigger.
Yeah. So to your original question, it was my first real estate investment, if you will, other than our home, right? Yeah. I don't really consider your own home an investment. It's it's costing you money, not making you money. So in this case, this warehouse was a utility that I needed for my business, and I was operating my business, paying rent to myself. And that started feeling like, oh, this is an investment. So that's how I firstly got started. And then, the second confirmation that I needed to dive into real estate obsessively was when my dad passed away a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. And he had built an industrial complex in South America, in Quito, where he was operating his own business. And, he sold off his business at some point, kept the real estate, and lived off his real estate for 20 years. The last 20 years of his life, he lived off of the passive income from his real estate.
Oh.
And I was probably too young to realize that in my 20s, even though I saw him doing that. But once I matured, I was like, man, my dad lived 20 years without worrying about money.
Yeah.
And he lived a very good life just off of his tenants and paid off property. What if he would have actually built the real estate business throughout his life? He would have been a mogul.
Yeah.
So the real estate survived him. Now we own that complex. The us three brothers that own it get passive income from that every single month. One of my brothers lives in Ecuador, so he's our property manager, takes very good care of our tenants and the property. So that was the second thing. I was like, man, am I really going to spend more time not investing in real estate? So because my businesses were pretty stable, this logistics business operates pretty much without me. I have a team that runs it. I have a marketing agency, Marketer Brothers, that also is on fire right now, helping small and medium businesses grow. And I have the CS3 Investments, which is our real estate investment company that really, I started small, like most of us, right? We try to do things we're comfortable with. Big mistake. I started buying the single fams, the duplexes, the triplexes. And I was like, why? Because I was comfortable. And 2 years ago, I sold a supplement company that I built on Amazon. And I had an 8-figure exit out of that company. And I had all this cash. And I was like, what do I do with this cash? Right? This cash is losing money, value in the bank. It's doing nothing for me. I need to invest it. I need to do something with it. And all roads kept leading back to real estate. And I knew in my gut that apartment complexes had power in them. So finally I travel and I go to a real estate summit by Grant Cardone in July of last year. And man, Grant spoke to us for 3 days straight about multifamily. And I felt like he was speaking to me directly, right? He's like, Carlos, sell your trash, sell your single families, sell your triplexes, sell your duplexes, go buy a deal that has at the very least 40.
I have to ask you on that. This is mindset shift, right?
Total.
I can only imagine being in a room with not just a mogul, but Grant Cardone, and to have him call your single family homes and duplexes and call them not to liquidate them, not to step into better rings, not anything. No, calling them trash. Yep. That is wow. That's a mindset shift, right? And this is, I'm going to keep saying this throughout today. I'm going to say this probably for the rest of my life. It's none of us are, I mean, I'm sure Carlos is, but the rest of us, me for sure, I'm not thinking big enough.
That's it.
Oh my God. Okay, please continue. Yeah, I just had to say that.
So the mind shift, right? The 180 mind shift, blown my mind. And more than anything, guys, giving me confidence to hear his story of how he got started and understand, man, this is not so difficult. I can do this. When you believe you can do something, your confidence level goes up and you can take action in pursuit of that. So sure enough, now there's 2 reactions usually to him calling the small real estate garbage. There's plenty of people in the room that got up and were heated. I'm like, I own 20 single family homes. I have cash flow from it, blah, blah, blah. Why are you calling them trash? And Grant said, look, all I'm doing is I'm telling you my story. I wish I had started with an apartment complex instead of a few little homes. I'm shortcutting your success. And if a multi-billion-dollar guy is telling you this, should you listen or should you get defensive about your single family homes? I chose to listen.
Yeah.
So a week and a half after that meeting, I was hunting, man. I was like 2 a.m, right? Cross-eyed, looking at multifamily websites and brokers and stuff like that. And I was like, and boom, I found a property. Beautiful property in Tennessee that now I own. $21 million deal, 54 luxury apartments with 37,250 square feet of commercial underneath. Amazing tenants in the commercial space. It had some vacancy, so that's my upside. And it's right in front of a hospital. If anybody wants to Google it, it's called the Gateway Village in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. There's a beautiful video that the brokers did when they were trying to sell the property.
That's awesome. And
so I find this property, right? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was going to ask you. Go ahead. I was just going to ask you, how did you find it? How did you fund it? And then what was your what was your strategy to add value to the property?
Yep. So mixed use property, again, 54 apartments, 37,250 commercial space underneath. Already some good tenants. There's an OBGYN clinic there. There's a plastic surgeon. There's a Morgan Stanley. There's a orthopedic rehabilitation center. I mean,
Nice.
good tenants, guys, right?
Awesome. Yeah, they ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, the developer actually also has an office there. He's now my tenant, both in residential and commercial.
Nice.
He lives on the penthouse, and he walks down to his office every day. And I was like, you know what? Beautiful property. He built it not like a rental. He built it for his home.
Yeah.
So when you see this property and you see the units, it's luxury. It's like a Ritz. You walk into the apartments and it's like crown molding everywhere. You know, there's wainscoting on the walls. There's granite. The cabinets are like real wood. I mean, we're like, whoa, man, this place is amazing.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I landed there, met him. He walked us around the property, told us about everything, right? Even how thick the concrete between the underground parking lot and the first floor was, right? It's like, Carlos, that's 12 inches so that the noise from the parking lot doesn't bother the first floor people. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So anyways, I thought it was a bargain from the minute I saw it. Interestingly enough, once I started saying, hey guys, I'm under contract for this thing, and that's another thing, guys, it was not easy to put it under contract because there was competition in the deal.
Yeah.
There was another group that was $50 million liquid trying to buy this property. And because we built a good relationship with the seller, he actually awarded us the deal.
That's awesome.
Trusted us. Even though I wasn't $50 million liquid, we're financing the deal. So we get the deal, we put it under contract, and then we had to fight for it. Because also, you know, the process of getting a lender and doing all that, it was also something that was lengthy. We put the property under contract in October. It took us 5 months to close on it.
Yeah.
So pretty good marathon. Right?
What do you think sets you apart from the relationship? Because obviously it was purely a relationship, because a cash offer versus financing is a pain in the butt. You know, as the seller, got to go through the hoops of financing. What sets you apart in that relationship? Do you believe that he wanted to sell to you over a different group?
Yeah, look, I think when I met Mr. Swanson, which amazing real estate mogul, by the way, in Tennessee, he owns millions of square feet of industrial space and hundreds of thousands of acres in the area. It's amazing. He took us on a tour not too long ago of his holdings, and there was not enough time in the day for him to show us all the real estate. Let's just put it that way, right?
That's awesome.
Mind-blowing. He's in his 80s, incredible career, huge respect for him. I look him up as a mentor. But I think what happened is when we got a chance to meet, which is unusual, guys. When you buy a multifamily property, typically you don't meet the seller, you meet the broker. We had a chance to meet him. He showed us the property because he was his pride and joy. And I didn't ask him a lot of questions about the property.
Yeah.
I asked him questions about him. Please tell me your story.
Yeah.
Please tell me how you built this. Please tell me how you got started in real estate. I basically did a podcast with him.
Yeah.
And I have a YouTube interview, by the way, I'll share with you guys, where I did the very first YouTube interview that he has ever given, telling a little bit about his story. But that was it. I focused on getting each other to know better, right? And I told him my story. Mr. Swanson, here's who I am. Here's what I've done. Here's where I came from, right? I told him my story. So I can only think that influenced enough that he was like, you know what? I'm going to give Carlos a chance. Yeah. And I told him that I was after $1 billion in real estate in 7 years. So maybe he saw himself in me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know for sure. But
so, oh my God. I mean, there's so much to unpack there. There's so much to unpack. One thing that's unique to me is that I know this because we're looking into a deal right now, and there's a broker involved because it's multifamily, and it's different. It's different when you're dealing with, you know, a big deal with a broker and a middleman, you know, versus when I talk directly to a seller and I'm closing someone. And it's really interesting that you said this. being, someone who's known as a closer in when talking to sellers, the relationship matters the most. It is the most important thing. If you can get this person to trust you and to believe that you are on their side, they will sell to you, lower than other offers. But that applies even if there's a broker, and even if the deal is $15-20 million, relationships matter still.
Yes.
And I love to hear that. That's just insane. That is insane. But
business is relationships, guys. Don't ever discount the power of someone knowing you and what you're about, where you're going. When you declare your vision, most often than not, people will want to support you in that vision.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are talking to a billionaire right now in the making.
Yeah.
Is that going to be cool
100%.
years from now? 7 years from now, is it going to be cool for you guys to see, man, we had Carlos on our podcast?
Absolutely. And man, another thing that I want to highlight, you said this, and it's amazing that you were forward with your goals, right? A lot of people, I've been talking to a lot of people, and it's an effort to remain humble. They don't want to talk about their goals. And sometimes their goals are seemingly audacious, right? They're audacious. My goal, I have huge goals, and I'm not shy about them. And a lot of times they think that if they're forward about them, they might come across as a jerk, or they might be, obnoxious. But the reality is, if you deliver it the right way, delivery matters. Delivery always matters. If you say it the right way, like you said, most people will resonate with it. And this is something that you mentioned when you were speaking with Marlon. And that's about when you're in these rooms, getting yourself into bigger rooms. By the way, if you guys aren't following Carlos on Instagram, you need to. He posted an amazing reel today about intentionally leveling up the rooms that you're in. And you were talking to Marlon about being at a convention, and there's people who are above you, and their suits are immaculate, and they're very well to do, and you're not there yet. And a lot of people would be terrified to go up to them. And you said this when you said these goals, right? You spoke them into the universe, and you spoke them to this person, to this seller. You said that he saw maybe something of himself in you. And when I heard you, I was at the airport, and there's 100 people around me, and I'm just having revelations on my phone, probably looking like a weirdo. And you said that, and it's so true. A lot of those guys who are in these positions, when they were 25, 30, when they were just getting started, they took those same risks. They made those bold proclamations. And if you do it the right way, I feel that you can only connect with them. So it's so true. It's amazing.
And I'll tell you one more thing. It's not only about bragging. It's about remaining accountable. A lot of folks don't want to declare their purpose, their goals, their visions, because number one, they care too much about what other people say or think. So they're afraid of their buddies from high school or college or from the barrio saying, hey, man, now you think that you're better than us? You're going to go be a millionaire? You're going to be this and that, right? They care too much about that because they're not upgrading their circle, just like I spoke today on Instagram. But secondly, what that does, when you're saying your goals all the time to everybody that knows you, guess what? It's the ultimate accountability tool, because the next time they see you, guess what they're going to say? Hey, Sam, how's it going, man? You told me your podcast was going to have 10,000 followers. How many you got today?
Oh,
and
my
you
God.
have to remain accountable.
Yeah.
So most people do not proclaim their goals, visions, and dreams because it makes them accountable to them. And they want to leave a back door to walk out of them. Guys, I burned my bridge behind me. Yeah. I'm like, there's a precipice behind me, because I'm saying I'm going to go get $1 billion in multifamily real estate in the next 7 years. I have no other option. There's no plan B. There's no plan C. There's plan A.
Yeah.
And that's why most people don't declare their goals. Not because they want to be humble. You'll be surprised. It's because now they need to be accountable. And that scares them so much. Because mom might ask, "Hey, son, how's it going, man?" I'm just saying, right? So that's my take on it.
Go ahead, Logan.
It's really easy to change your goals or to say, oh, I didn't really want your goals when you don't tell the world about them. And so if you guys aren't following Carlos on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram. He also posts all about fitness. And my background is in a fitness business. And obviously, Carlos had a supplement business. And so one of the biggest things, the reason why people fail in it when it comes to like changing their body composition and not following through on their weight loss goals is accountability, because they don't tell anybody. And so like, I'm going to go lose 20 pounds, but they don't tell anybody but themselves. And then on Saturday morning, they wake up and it's like, it's not as much fun as it was the first couple of weeks. It becomes really easy to quit because they didn't tell anybody. They didn't tell the world that they have this massive giant goal.
Yep.
And so what you're saying right now, Carlos, is so valuable. Now we're changing the realm from fitness into business. Is like, tell the world what you want, hold you accountable. And I'm a huge believer in manifesting. Like, you tell the world what you want, and like people will start to like, how can I help Carlos? Because people are good and they want to help. And they're like, how can I help Carlos today? Right. And no one would even know that you want $1 billion unless you told people you want $1 billion in real estate. Right. How am I going to help you, Carlos? Now I can help you. Now I know what you want. Now I can set my goals, my vision to how do I serve Carlos.
And they want to be part of a big vision themselves too.
Exactly.
Right. If their confidence level is not high enough that they're like, man, I'm going to go do this myself.
Yeah.
How about I go help somebody else do it and be part of it? Right. Who would like to be part of the Facebook dorm room? Yeah. Right. Or Jeff Bezos in his little one room office back in the day. A lot of us would, but back in those days, they were just an idea. They were just passionate about something that they wanted to do.
Well, this is absolutely amazing. I want to highlight this, right? And it's more so for me, I view it as there's more accountability, right? There's accountability to yourself, and that's important. It's so important. There's another thing to it. It's something that you mentioned. It's about your story. It's about where you come from. It's about the fact that your father, you mentioned this on Marlon's podcast, your father was basically, like a serial entrepreneur, but at the time he maybe didn't have the access to the tools and resources to capitalize on all of the ambition he may have had the right way. Like, the reality is, in America, especially in today's day and age, we live in the greatest country on earth. Like, I'm an immigrant. This is obvious. You can tell. Right. I am a first generation immigrant. I was raised by a single mother who came here at like 16 years old and raised in the hood, raised in the ghetto. And the reality is I get to be on a podcast right now with a soon to be billionaire with a freaking B, folks, because we live in a country where these resources are available. Now, here's another thing, though. You spoke about accountability. Accountability matters. It really does. But I believe there's another aspect to it, and there's an obligation. I believe, for me, my mother came here and she struggled to raise me and my 3 brothers. Single mom, 4 boys in the hood in California. Like, this is the way it goes. And because I know I have the ability to achieve these things, I know it is within the realm of possibility in my destiny, I now have a moral obligation to achieve those for her. And I'm sure, and you spoke about this, you spoke about honoring the people who came before you. You spoke about honoring entrepreneurs who maybe didn't have the resources that you do. So it's not accountability to yourself, folks. It's accountability for the people who allowed you to be where you're at right now. Yeah. This is insane. This is amazing.
You got to step on their shoulders. Look, my dad didn't have the internet. My mom didn't have the internet. They had what was available to them at the time, and they used it. But now we have these unlimited resources at our disposal. So it would be really irresponsible for us to not use everything we have available to its fullest potential. And man, I'd love to hear your story, Sam, because you are honoring your mom. You are honoring your family. I have the responsibility of carrying my last name to as high as I can and leaving a legacy so that people remember who I was. So that's that's the perspective, and that's the duty of wanting to remain highly accountable to yourself, to your family, to your team. That's another thing. You got to build a team that also helps you remain accountable. If you tell your team members, guys, we're going to go do this, you better be the hardest worker in that team to go achieve that goal. And all you have to do really is show up. And Logan, to your point about fitness, man, I love fitness and I love sports like CrossFit, because all I have to do is show up. Right? I have a coach who I submit to. He's my boss in that 1 hour of pain. Right? I don't question it. I don't try to be an entrepreneur in that 1 hour. Right? I am being trained by somebody that knows more about the subject. And there's a prescribed recipe on the board, and you just follow. And then along the way, you learn, it's like, man, this is convenient, man. I just show up, I get beat up for an hour, and I love it. And then eventually you're like, oh man, now I feel strong. Now I have some muscles. Now I have some abs, right? Yeah. And then it drives you to eat better too, because now you care. You've put some effort, and now you care. It's like, man, I would love for these muscles to show. So I'm going to start cutting the carbs, right? I'm going to start eating better, eating healthier. And you start upgrading in different areas because of the hard work and effort you put. And that's really the remaining accountable to the goal and to other people.
You know, there's so much value to what you said right there, but I also want to take that back and hit on a point of, we talk a lot about being leaders. And what I hear a lot in what you're saying is that you're also an amazing follower. And it started with your first ability to like work for free for 6 months as being very submissive and saying, hey, I don't know anything. I don't know if I have any value. I don't want you to pay me. I want to earn my opportunity. I have a very similar story like that, where I worked for 6 months not getting paid to get my foot into the fitness industry. And to become a great leader, you also must be a great follower, and also understanding like what is your game and what you're willing to be submissive of in different situations. And going back to your team, let's talk a little bit about now your strategy to be a billionaire by 2028, right? So now you manifested it. You've created this magnificent goal. Tell us a little bit about your strategy and how you're doing it with your company, CS3 Investments.
Yes. So after that event with Grant, obviously my mind was blown, and every limiting belief that I had about real estate was obliterated. And I started thinking, wow, I can go do this, and it's so scalable. Yeah. And multifamily real estate is that business. Look, I built multi-million-dollar businesses in e-commerce, in logistics, in marketing, and now I have an 8-figure business in real estate. The logistics one took me 15 years. The supplement one, that one was kind of a unicorn. It took me 18 months.
Do that one again.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm going to explain why not. Then the marketing one, it's taken us 3 years to get to that multi-million-dollar mark, right? So, and the logistics also. So, you know, we've done this, and we've scaled businesses. But when I saw multifamily real estate, I say, wow, this is so scalable, because I'm buying a business that is already cash flowing. And all I have to do is walk into that cash flow. I close the transaction. I start getting paid month one. And now I need to just tweak, optimize, increase rents, reduce expenses, and streamline. And I have a property management team that is a professional property management team that I've vetted, and my lender has vetted too, to run the deal. I'm not getting a guy that is an unknown. So the scalability of that. So that means that now I can go buy a $21 million property today, be free of it from running it pretty much a month or two after I acquire it, and go on to the next and the next and the next and do the same thing. The scalability of that, think about that. How quickly can I go buy $100 million a year of real estate at that rate? Right? I have a $5 million deal under contract right now. We're closing at the end of this month. And then we're looking at another handful of deals that will probably, just for the first 2 quarters of the year, will end up at right around $50 million or so of acquired assets.
Wow.
It's incredibly scalable, guys. And that's why I like it. It's predictable, it's scalable. I can look at the P&L, I can look at the property, I can look at the location. It's very, very discreet. There's no ambiguity. That's what I love about multifamily real estate. And that's why I'm so confident that we can predictably scale to that $1 billion mark within 7 years, because on average, we will do about $120 million a year for the next 7 years.
It's amazing. And when it comes to your buy box, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a certain unit count? Are you looking for a certain class? Looking for a certain area? What are you guys focused on to get to that $1 billion in real estate?
I love class A properties in class A locations. Everybody does, right?
Yeah.
Anything over 40 units and above with a $1 million math. Do you guys know the $1 million math? Should we do the $1 million math?
Let's do it.
Absolutely.
All right. So pull our calculators, and this is going to be amazing for your viewers. So basically what I'm looking for is a deal that can give myself and my investors at least $1 million in returns.
Okay.
So if you find a deal where you have $200 of upside in rents, you multiply that by 40, and you multiply that by 12 months. That's $96,000 a year extra in income. You divide that by the going cap rate, which right now is between 4.5% and 5% for multifamily properties, and you get about $1.9 million. Now that's $200, almost $2 million. That means that with about 125 to 150, this is my new value of the property on a 40-unit deal. That's why I look for 40 and above, because I know that at the very least, $100 to $200 increase in rents will yield me this value. And now I can go in a year or two, refinance and get most of my cash out of the deal and go do it again.
Yeah.
Can you do this with a single family home? A triplex? A fourplex?
Get that trash out of here. Oh man, there's so much to unpack here, right? And I don't know if you guys can see it because Logan knows this. I'm a little bit on the younger side, and I'm relatively newer to this space, to investing.
How old are you?
I just turned 26.
Oh man, I love it.
But I'm 6 months into this game. I'm 6 months into investing into entrepreneurship. I graduated with my master's last year. I was having this revelation, and I was in Phoenix this past week, right? I went there, I flew out there, I walked a property, I locked up a deal, and I was like, wow, exactly a year ago, entrepreneurship, investing, real estate wasn't on my mind. I was in class last year. And then I'm fast forwarding, and now I'm talking to you, and you're just pouring into us. You're pouring into our viewers, and we're learning math now, which is something that's always amazing. But exactly, it's just continued education, right? Continued education. That being said, it's one of those things where I don't know if you guys can see, I'm just having like my mind blown over and over again. And I talked to Marlon when I was in Phoenix, and I was like, bro, this Carlos thing, it was amazing. How did you feel? The next day, I want you to know this. Marlon I was at his house with him. I was sitting next to him. We took him out to dinner, and he was still taking it in. And one thing that he concluded was that one needs to get into multifamily, but it's this. He's not thinking big enough. None of us are. And I'm doing well. I feel like I'm doing well right now in the single family space. And this is just like a kick in the butt. It's like, yeah, this is great. But the reality is, if you want to achieve your destiny, if you want to become the best that you could ever be, you need to start thinking astronomically bigger. Man, there's so much value here. Guys, if you guys are watching, please take a screenshot, tag Carlos in it, show him a lot of love. This guy is I was scrolling through your Instagram today. your reels and your posts, whether they're about fitness or they're about mindset or they're about, how to level up in entrepreneurship. Oh my God, there's millions of dollars of value in mindset training alone on your Instagram. Guys, show him some love. This guy is phenomenal.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I just started Instagram very little time ago, by the way. It's been like maybe 6 months.
And you're doing it way better than I am, so I got to get my stuff.
And look, I'm just following the playbook. I heard Grant said something, which is you got to get known.
Yeah.
Attention. If nobody knows you, nobody flows you. If you can't have people's attention, how can ever they do business with you? People do business with people they know, they trust, and they feel good about.
Yeah.
So the more that you are out there, and that's people sometimes make this mistake is like, look, they say, oh, I can't teach anybody anything because I'm just 6 months into this game. And you have more knowledge already than the 99% of the population about real estate. And that's what you need to start talking about. It's like, you know what I learned today? This is what I learned today. And folks were like, whoa, man, I didn't know that. I learned something 2 days ago because I've been looking at these rent rolls, right, for multifamily property. And I've been seeing some of these properties have zero deposit from their tenants. And I'm like, whoa, man, these guys are exposing themselves.
Yeah.
What if a tenant trashes their unit? And I'm like, something's off. So I literally did this, guys, because when I rent a unit at the Gateway, the penthouse is $3,250 in rent. So that tenant needs to give me $3,250 as a deposit. That is money for folks. So I see this and I'm like, I wonder if there's a way for me not to charge a deposit. So I go to Google and I go zero deposit. And I find 3 companies. One of them is called Rhino. The other one's called LeaseLock, who have a program where the tenant now can come, pay no deposit to the landlord, pay a small fee every month, which is about 2 Starbucks, right? $18 or so.
Wow.
Now you don't have to pay a deposit. It's covered up to $4,000 or $5,000 for the landlord, no questions asked. So from a marketer,
that's amazing.
I'm like, and now I have an edge. The property next door charges 1 month deposit or 1.5 months. I now can charge zip because this provider allows me to offer them a small fee a month and pay no deposit. How cool is that?
That is amazing. That is like the golden nugget on this for anybody who owns any property. It doesn't have to be multifamily in this situation, right? Could it be a smaller property as well? So anybody who's a landlord, like that's the best marketing edge ever. No deposit.
No,
how many applications are you gonna get?
Right. That's something that they can go implement like today. If you're a landlord and you have some vacancy coming up, there you go. That right there is going to set you apart. And when these people go look for rent properties and you're the only one that does that, right? With rent rates being what they are right now, I'm looking into Airbnb and we're looking into arbitrage. I just locked up an arbitrage deal in Phoenix and like the rent rates in Phoenix are insane. They're like above, $3,000 for like a nice property, for a nice, single family home. And it's like, a lot of people want first month rent and last month rent. This is phenomenal. So guys, right there, he already gave you guys millions in mindset training. He gave you millions in how to be accountable. And then now he just gave you something that you can implement today to make money. Oh my God.
I'm excited about that one, by the way, because it's going to be 6 times the amount of people that are interested now. Yeah. And it's a pain point, right? When tenants leave and you're like nickel and diming that deposit, how do they feel?
Well, like, and it becomes a liability on your books too, right? Because that's money you got to get back eventually. So
exactly right.
So Carlos, I want to speak on this because this is something that I personally am evolving into, and I'm starting to understand and see the value in this. And it's a mindset shift for me, and it's something that you spoke a lot about. And that's I want to hear from you. What is the value, right, for young entrepreneurs to keep putting themselves into bigger rooms? Is it worth it to save the money up and go to the next 10x event? Is it like how much? Are they worth it? Is it worth it to keep putting yourself into these rooms? Like we have Clever Summit coming up, in Vegas. I'm going to be there. I know we have like thousands of people that are going to be there. It's going to be amazing. But in your experience, as someone who's done so much, right, with e-com, with real estate, you're gonna be a billionaire with a freaking B, guys. I'm stoked about that. I get to say that on my podcast. That's amazing. Really soon, really before this decade is up, really soon. In your experience, looking back at it, if you could, would you tell yourself, go to less conferences, or would you say, nah, you need to be there in those rooms all the time?
All I would tell you is don't make the same mistake I did. For the first 10 years of my career, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't go to one conference. I didn't go to one meetup. I was just grinding myself, trying to figure things out, making way too many mistakes, losing money, making money, losing money, making money, trying to make ends meet. And it was a waste of a decade. Instead, I should have sought mentors, successful people that gathered to level up with each other. And when I started going to events, to masterminds, to conferences, one of the first masterminds that I went was about 7 years ago. It was an e-commerce one. And that's when my eyes opened. I was like, oh, wow, I can learn here. These guys are further ahead than me. I can ask a lot of questions. They're willing to share. And I'll tell you how the unicorn happened. At that event, I met one guy, and that guy introduced me to another guy that I helped sell his business. Out of me selling that business, I made $250,000 commission of selling that business.
Wow.
And then this guy said, hey, let's start a brand together, roll in the quarter. And I was like, oh, shoot, man, I just made $250K. I don't know if I want to roll it in. That's a house back then. And I was like, let's do it. I didn't tell my wife until after, though. And sure enough, we invested $500,000 that turned into 8 figures in 18 months.
Wow.
So that's the power of a mastermind, guys. You know how much I paid to be part of that mastermind? $100,000.
Nice.
You guys are nickel and diming yourselves sometimes of paying $2,500 to be VIP or $500, man. It's like, look, you're cheating yourselves. The ultimate shortcut is to go to an event where you're going to meet other people of success. That one person can change your life. One relationship can change your life.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. And same thing now with Grant, guys. Same thing now with Grant. I go to this event. I pay to be front row. I became part of his mastermind right away, $25,000. And not even a year out, I own a $21 million property, about to own another $5 million, about to go put another under contract. And yesterday, I'll share this clip on my Instagram very soon. Yesterday, I was in a call with Grant when he said, Carlos, we got to do something together here in Miami. Right?
Yeah.
There's a chance, guys. There's a chance to become Grant Cardone's partner in a deal in the future.
Yeah. I don't think there's a chance. It may not be this one because things happen. But I think I think the reality is with you and everything that I'm hearing from you and like I'm taking this in, what I'm getting out of Logan, I'm sure you're getting this too, that this man, it just operates with a level of certainty and conviction that it's gonna happen. You're gonna be a billionaire. You're gonna do deals with Grant Cardone. It's not gonna be one. It's gonna be multiple. Then you're gonna be doing deals with other billionaires. God, this is amazing. I have to ask you this, right? With someone on this insane trajectory. I love surrounding myself with people who are on upward trajectories, and I feel like your trajectory is like 20x that. I want to know this because you're a family man. You're a family man. What does balance look like to you when you're over here about to conquer the world?
I heard Grant said something that struck me deep, and he said, guys, I'm not building a business. I'm building a life. And that's exactly what I've done with my family. They're part of everything I do. They come here in the office. My wife has been with me for a lot of that journey in the office physically. I mean, I told you guys she was my third employee. So she's been here. We slept on the floor of the office a couple times when the early days of the e-commerce gig. I think it was the third year in business. We were doing like a couple hundred orders a day, and we show up on Black Friday, and man, our screen had 3,000 plus orders. So 10x the orders that we were getting daily.
Wow.
And it was the two of us plus one employee. And we're like, oh man, the stacks of labels were like this big, right? And they kept coming. And we're like, man, this is never ending, but we had to ship them. So we worked around the clock. We called friends and family. They came for an hour and then quit. And we just got it done. So what does that mean to me is like, the business is part of our lives.
Yeah.
And, you know, today I had a meeting at my kid's school. I went and attended, and that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. I just schedule my life just like I schedule my business.
Yeah.
And my wife is incredibly supportive of that. She knew who she was marrying into. I was very clear in the beginning. Hey, babe, this is who am I, right? This is what I want. This is who am I. Are you sure you want this?
Yeah. a little takeaway there.
Yes. Are you sure? Now's the time. So that's the balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all committed. We're all committed. So if your family is on the same page of that vision, there won't be any disagreements of, you know what, Dad has to work late tonight, or he needs to be away for the weekend because we have this conference going on, or anything like that. Because now, and on the same token, is like, hey, let's go to a GrowthCon. Everybody came. We took the whole family. We attended GrowthCon, and then we went to Orlando to spend time with the kids fishing. After that, you guys saw the pictures on Instagram, right? So that's part of it, right? My life is my business. And that's what I love about being a business owner too. As an employee in Hewlett Packard, I could never do that.
Yeah.
I would have to go ask my boss and beg him, hey, can I take a couple of these days off here? Because I want to go fishing with my kids or go to GrowthCon. I was like, what's GrowthCon, man? Right? Well, it's this thing in Florida where a lot of people come and celebrate success and growth, and they're like, nah, you can't go, right? Yeah. Like, oh man, I never want to put myself and my family in that situation. So that's balance for me.
I think one of the most important things that you're out there, and this is something that I share with my wife as well from being an entrepreneur for the last decade, is that like, this is our game. Like, we get to create the game. And sometimes we put we make the rules so it's hard to win for ourselves. And it's like, what are we doing? And I think it's really important that you said it so eloquently and so well. It's like, we're not building a business, we're building a life. So like, our life, our family is part of the business. And ultimately it's how everything rolls together, and we get to create it. And that is like the most powerful and one of the most fun things to do is like, how do we make it all happen? How do we have our health? How do we have our wealth? How do we have our relationships? And how do they all continue to grow together? Not this up and down, like, oh, well, my health is good, but now my relationship's going down, or my business is going up and now my relationship's going down. Like, that is garbage. Like, that's not how we do things. It's like, they all rise together. Exactly. And you clearly live that life. And going back to what Sam said, your confidence is it's inspirational is not the right word, but it's magnetic. That's what it is. It's very magnetic, and I want to be around you more. Sam wants to be around you more, and that's why people want to be around you. And so let's transition here. I know we want to be really respectful of your time here. So tell us a little bit about your business now. Like, how can people help you? Like, how can they add value to you? Can they work for you? I know you're raising money. Like, what resources do you need? How can someone come into your world and say, hey, Carlos, I want to be part of your world. How can I help you?
Thanks for asking that question. So number one, guys, I'm always hiring. Like every businessman should. Yeah. We're always in the hunt for great people to go and build our businesses, right? Mm-hmm. In our marketing agency, in our logistics business, in our investment group, we're always hiring great people. people that are growth minded, that have great attitudes, that want to be part of something much larger than themselves. So that's one thing. If you ever think about working with us and building our businesses with us and be part of it, just contact me through Instagram, through CS3 Investments, through marketerbros.com, through any of our avenues. So that's one. Secondly, if you want to become a partner with us, let's say in real estate, bring us a good deal, right? Find a good deal and bring us a good deal. We can help you get it closed. We can help you get it funded. We can help you with everything in between. That's another way. Now, if your superpower is people, when we have deals, how about you help us raise money for those deals and earn equity in our deals?
Yeah.
Those are multiple avenues of coming with us and helping us out. And finally, the way that you can help our vision, if you have a platform like the one you guys are building, is help us be known.
Yeah.
Help us spread the word about who we are, who I am, and what we're all about. That's how we become friends. That's how we start trusting each other. We start doing business together, because here, guys, we're doing business together. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
And that's really the beauty of the tools we have available today. We can help someone get better traction, and you guys as well, you get to grow your platform. And now we're like, oh man, we need to start hunting for a deal with Carlos.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks from now, you find a deal, and when we end up being partners in a multifamily property. I have people that have already done that, by the way.
Yeah.
The one that we're about to close, I can show you the text. A few weeks ago, maybe two months ago, a month and a half ago, I got a text that said, from an unknown number, by the way, hey, Carlos, I got your number from Pace. Pace Morby. You know Pace Morby. He says you're the multifamily guy. I have a deal that might interest you. I'm like, cool, man, let's jump on a Zoom. Shows me the deal. I liked it, liked the numbers. I flew there 2 days after, walked the property. I'm like, let's do this, guys. And we became partners. We're closing it at the end of this month.
That's amazing.
48 unit, beautiful deal in Georgia. And we're going to make a pile of money on that one, guys. There's, you guys want to do the math on that one? Yeah.
Heck yeah.
You game?
Let's do it.
48 units. Okay. 48 units. We have $250 of upside in the rent.
Okay.
250 times 12, $144,000 of extra income. Divided by the cap rate. I'm doing 5% cap rate. That's the upside on the deal. We're buying it for $4.8 million.
We're just learning math today.
Guys, everybody watching, are you guys seeing that we are thinking too small? We are thinking too small.
We're learning new math is what we're learning. We're learning that 48 plus 250 equals $3 million. That's the math we're learning today.
So, and we can start wrapping it up. I just want to be ultra respectful of your time. This person who reached out to you, they're partnering on this 48 unit deal in Georgia. Pace Morby gave this person your number. Who is this person?
Keston's my partner in that deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the guy that reached out to me, his name is Oscar. I don't know if you guys know Oscar from Dallas, Texas.
Nice.
Oscar Jimenez.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Nice.
Guys, do you see this?
Oscar texted me out of the blue.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All
So
of you guys can be that person. You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Bring me a deal that has some meat on the bone, and now we're gonna go close it together.
God, this is amazing, Carlos. This is absolutely amazing. There's so much here, right? There's think bigger. There's connecting with the right people. Go find a deal. At the end of the day, if you guys want to be in a room with Carlos, It's as simple as just going and sourcing a deal. You don't have to close it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make sure that it's something that you can actually deep dive on with him, bring it to him, partner with the man who's going to be a billionaire, and it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
It's going to change your life. This is a guarantee. This is a promise that I'm going to make right now to everyone watching. Carlos, there's so much here. I could interview you for 3 days straight. There's so much more that I want to talk about.
Well, we have part 3, part 4.
Yeah.
Oh man, don't tempt me. Don't like I'm gonna hold you to it. But Carlos, truly, your story, your background from coming from Quito, right?
Quito.
Coming from Quito, coming here to America, coming to the States, being the epitome of let's be honest, what is this? This is the American dream. Like, this is it personified. It is Carlos. Thank you so much for pouring into us. Thank you for pouring into the community the way that you have been with Keston. There's a lot that we didn't cover with you too much today, and I want to cover this later, and that's because I know this is big for you, and that is continued leadership. And that's something that if there is a part 2, if you ever can make the time for it, I truly hope that you do. I want to deep dive on that because I can sense it with you because I'm trying to always become a better leader. And there's just something about you where I just know, like, working for you or partnering with you, you're the guy who's going to take everyone around you up with you. So
we definitely need to do one like that. I'll read you a text that I got today from someone that has been sending me deals. Today he sent me a deal that is not going to work out, which is okay, guys. You need to be okay with some things not working out, right? And not give up. So I texted him and said, man, I've seen this deal already, went under contract. I believe it's sold. And he's like, yeah, you're right about this one. There's definitely ones that don't work out. I'll just keep underwriting and looking through deals. I'm sure we can find something to work on. Thanks for that feedback.
That's awesome.
And he says, I feel I have a lot to learn from your approach to this game, not just in the diligence aspect, but the way you step into being a leader everywhere. To your point.
Yeah.
Leaders don't ask permission to lead, guys. They just lead. And if we can convey that to folks, and we'll do another podcast just on leadership, that's something that it's definitely something that our world needs more of. Because you got to be front and center. You got to be the guy. And that's a burden. There's a burden to leadership because now you're responsible and accountable. But it's a beautiful burden because it gets to allow you to see other people walk into their full potential behind you. And they didn't think they could do that alone until you told them, hey, let's go do this.
Yeah.
Let's go accomplish this. I'll show you how. And share a little bit of your insight with others. So wherever you go, guys, try to be the guy. Don't shy away from that. Try to be the person that is leading, even if you were not asked to do it. In fact, that's the thing with leaders.
Yeah.
No one asks us to do that. We just do it because we know it's the way.
It's the duty, right? It's the duty.
Right.
Carlos, really appreciate your time today. Again, if you guys want to connect with Carlos, you can work for him. He might pay you. You might work for free. Like, get your feet in the door, work with him. Send him deals, raise private money, be part of his deals. That's how you can get they can connect with it and add value. Share, like his stuff, be in his presence. Thank you so much, Carlos. Sam, thank you as well for asking amazing questions today. We're gonna do a part 2. So
Let's go.
I got part 3 and 4.
Congratulations. Continue to grow this. What's the goal of this podcast? I'm going to put you on the spot right now so that I can check up on you and make sure you're staying accountable to it.
Audacious goals. Let's do this. 100% within the next. I need to look into it. I have no idea what the heck the requirements are, but we need to get on Spotify. We need to get on an official platform. 100%. We can't just be on Facebook and on YouTube. We need to get on that. And Logan, I'm thinking in the next 4 months. Ooh, that feels ambitious, but I like that it feels ambitious. In the next 4 months, whatever platform we need to have at least 1,000 subs. Platform, and we need to be cemented on it in the next 4 months.
my goal is to get Carlos back on for a second podcast. That's my goal. And get Grant Cardone, and get some of the big influencers on here so we can continue to share our message. And by that, also be able to connect Carlos to these other influencers that we connect with as well, and just like build this network of people who we want to do business with and who we want to connect with and who we want to have friendships with, and invite you over to dinner. And I want you to come to my town. I want you to have you stay at my house and hang out with you. That's
awesome.
That's my goal.
Cool, guys. We'll do that and more. And everybody that's listening, because I'll publish this on my media, follow these guys. Follow Logan. Follow Sam. Logan, I don't see your Instagram handle, so make sure that you put it on there so that people can follow you too. And it's important, guys, that we help each other out. So whenever you have the opportunity to lift somebody up, that's where you have to be very, very much so collaborating. Collaboration is the ultimate currency. And if you understand that, you're going to win every single time. So Logan, Sam, pleasure to be here. Appreciate you both. Let's go win together, boys.
Amazing. Episode 4, folks. There you go. Carlos, thank you. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.